Hi, I'm Tim. Join me as we discuss vinyl sticker decals for your RC model airplane. Let's get to it. As modelers, we're familiar with decals. We've used them on our plastic models, perhaps for some of your RC models. This is an example of a waterslide decal sheet from a Guilos kit. You simply cut out the image, put it in water for about 10 or 15 seconds, slide it onto your model, dries in place, put some sealant on it, and that is how we use waterslide decals. We can also make waterslide decals for our RC model airplanes using our inkjet printers and special inkjet waterslide decal paper. I have a video on that you can look at for how to use the waterslide decals, but there's another little bit better way to make decals for your RC models. That's printing them out on your inkjet printer onto vinyl sticky paper. With the vinyl sticky paper, you take whatever image you want. These are an example that I did with some text and some images. And what happens with the paper, if you look closely here, you can peel it off, and this is sticky that goes onto your model, and this is the backing that you throw away. Notice we'll talk about two different types. This is a transparent paper, and this is the same image, but this is on matte white paper. The other was transparent, this was matte white, and again, this sticks to the model. And we'll demonstrate and discuss both of these approaches to the vinyl sticky decals in the video. As I mentioned, you'll have to purchase special inkjet paper for these vinyl sticky labels. These are two that I bought on Amazon. This is the Neato labels. These are clear labels, and notice that they are designed for inkjet printers or laser printers on the cover. You'll just have to check the Amazon listing to make sure you get the appropriate one. This is the brand that I picked for the vinyl sticker paper for the matte or the white paper color. And again, this is for inkjets only. Notice it is waterproof. And again, just do your research on the Amazon website. So let's take a moment. I'll demonstrate on my computer how I use Google search for images and Keynote for text to how we print out some simple text and pictures that we'll use on a demonstration. And you'll see that I'll show you how to get to this on your computer. Let's take a look at using Google in your computer to get text and images for your decals. Standard Google search for Air Force Rondell. Go to images. We see a variety of pictures. We'll select the stars and bars. We like that image. We'll click it one more time to get a little bit bigger. Using screen capture software on the Mac, it's Command-Shift-4. You just drag across that image and we'll save a copy of that image to your desktop. We can go back to the program to look at another image we want to capture. This will be an Army Air Corps Rondell. We click on that. We like that. We select it one more time. We'll do another screen capture. Again, with the Mac, it's Command-Shift-4, and we'll get that image back onto our desktop. Now we can bring up Keynote again, which is a graphic program that I'm using, PowerPoint, whatever's on your computer. Let's first take a look at what we can do with text. We'll type out a normal word flyer. We'll select a more decorative text font for that, sign painter, because this will be like a pilot's name or whatever. We can change the font to make it bigger for whatever our project is. We can move it onto the paper. We can copy and paste to make another copy of the text. Let's play around with the color. In this case, we'll make it a yellow color. And using the advanced options, we can put an outline. Again, think about the background color of your airplane, but this is a very nice effect that would look good on your airplane, the yellow text with the black outline. Now for the Rondells with Keynote, you simply drag it from your desktop onto the program. It just pastes itself there. You can size it to whatever is the correct size for your model. We can copy and paste to make additional ones if we want. And we'll do the same action for the Air Force stars and bars. And again, size to suit your model. Once you have the images that I showed you how to produce on your computer, you have to print them out onto the paper. Because this is vinyl paper, it acts differently with the ink than with waterslide decal printing or even printing on your regular paper. You'll have to experiment with your printer, the type of inks. With my printer, a default setting works just fine. You'll notice that both on the matte and the clear vinyl sticky back here, it comes out just a very sharp, clear printing onto the vinyl. It's important also that when you do the printing, you bought the paper for the inkjet printer. Don't try the inkjet printer paper into a laser printer. A laser printer creates heat. The heat can melt the vinyl and damage your printer. So what we're going to do now is demonstrate applying some of these vinyl sticky decals onto a sample here. This is a piece of balsa with yellow monocoat and blue monocoat. And you'll see the key differences between the matte or white paper finish and the transparent paper. The key thing to keep in mind with inkjet printers are there are two cartridges that you put in for the ink. There's a black ink and then there's a color cartridge. Black is obviously for black. The color cartridge makes you various colors. The important point is for home inkjet printers, the color cartridge does not produce the color white. The color white doesn't exist. So when you have to print something, a graphic, whatever, that has white, it's actually no printing ink applied because the assumption is you're going to use white paper. It's transparent, so when you see a white color, it's really the white paper showing through. What that means is for our decals, anywhere that you see this is transparent, white is really the white paper backing that's showing. It'll be clear, and we'll demonstrate that when we apply it to the balsa sheet here. And this will show you the difference on your experimentation, whether to use transparent paper or matte paper for your vinyl sticky decals. What we're going to do now is cut out some of these images just to show you how they go onto our sample balsa backing. So we have some examples of the transparent backing that will apply to this, and you'll see how they work. So again, the white color is really the paper behind it. When we apply that onto the our sample board, notice how this star, you can see right through it. And when we put it onto this background, it sticks on beautifully. The ink is firm, but that white is really the yellow showing through. Now when we take this same with the matte paper, you'll see the difference. So here's the Army Air Force Rondell. This is on the matte finish paper. So again, it's white paper. The white star, when we take it off, is white. You can't see my finger behind it. And when we put this on the sample sheet here, that's the difference of a white background. Now we'll do this same matte finish here, but we're not going to trim around the circle, so you see just how the different papers work. Notice when I take off the backing, the entire thing is white. So when we put it onto our sample sheet, again, we have the white, but you just have to trim around that. That's important when you're doing things like letters and all that. It makes a lot more sense to put the text on the transparent background because it's very hard to trim all around that. So let's apply this to the sheet as well. So now we'll pull this off. You can see that it's transparent, and when you put it on, that looks very nice. So again, transparent, transparent, matte, matte. This is the transparent vinyl. What we're going to do is put it on the blue side, and you'll see that it just about disappears because of the dark blue behind it. So same decal, transparent on the yellow and on the dark blue. Now here's the Air Force stars and bars on the matte paper, again the white paper background. We could put that onto the dark blue and it shows up just fine. What you would want to do is just trim this with an X-Acto blade or scissors around here. You have a very solid color when you go onto the dark blue. And if this were over here to be the same effect here, again, the matte paper on both sides. And finally, one last demonstration, text. And what I did was I selected a red interior color with a black outline because I had planned on putting this onto a lighter background. I'll take this transparent and put it onto the yellow. And you see that shows up very well. So again, I think you have a good demonstration. Darker background, lighter backgrounds, matte, and the transparent vinyl backing, the advantages and disadvantages of both. This is on, I mean, it's just on absolutely solid. There's not a need to cover it with a covering it of clear enamel to seal it in place. I think it's still a good idea once it's on to give a very light misting of a clear cover just to keep the edges down and to keep it from fading over time. So thank you for joining me in this video. The vinyl decals are a pretty neat way to add decal coverings to your RC model. There's no need for the water slide. They're color fast, they stick on very well, and you can experiment between the matte and the clear finishes to get the final design coverage of your choice.